Hello, everybody. It's Paul Feuerstein, editor-in-chief of Dentistry Today. And boy, am I lucky today to have a good friend named Lana sitting here with me. Lana, I can never pronounce your last name, but I think it's Colantuano. How did
Pretty
you
good. Pretty good.
Lana is a dental hygienist and a digital genius. And she is running the show pretty much for me. She's my resource for the company called Shining 3D and some of the products and processes that they're doing that are pretty amazing. So, Lana, just introduce yourself a little bit and then let's talk about the company for starters.
Sure. So, as you said, my name's Lana. I work for Shining 3D Technology Inc. Before my time with Shining 3D, I was a dental hygienist, clinical from 2010 to 2021, if that gives you any idea of how long I've been around. And so what I do, I'm an account manager for Shining 3D. So I manage like the sales aspects, some of the partnerships aspects, and just try to educate people about our products.
And that's where I really came across you, the educational part, because some of the stuff gets complicated as we're going to show everybody. And you're just a gem. So I'm thrilled to be here with you.
Thank you. I'm honored.
So I first heard of Shining 3D probably, I don't know how many years ago, and you hit the marketplace with this intraoral scanner, and it immediately was this gigantic success. It was just like everyone said, "What? You got to see this thing." So let's talk about the company first. How you got into that? How, not you, but the company got into this whole process, and let's talk about the scanner for a second.
Okay, so we'll start. Let's go. We'll start at the very beginning. So in 2004,
Oh,
Shining 3D. Oh, do you want to start with the scanner?
yeah, no. That's what I
Yeah.
know.
So
That
2004, we
2004.
yeah. So 21 years now been in business. So we started as a macro technology scanning company. So think planes, trains, automobiles, aerospace engineering, buildings, blueprints. So we were developing technology to scan large scale items and more focused on the technology. And out of the technology comes products. So we have an entire industrial line that existed prior to our dental line. All of our dental products started with a macro component that was reverse engineered essentially.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the scanner hit the shelves, and the reviews came in gangbusters. Small, lightweight, accuracy was proven immediately,
Yeah.
and the price point was great, and so you capture the industry, but people don't even know that's like the tip of the iceberg of Shining 3D, isn't it?
It really is. It really is a tip of the iceberg. And even before, so you're talking about the Aeroscan 3. Even prior to that, we had the Aeroscan 2. So the
Mm.
Aeroscan 3 was just an improved version of that. And even prior to our scanners, our first dental product released in the US was a desktop scanner. So it was an auto scan unit essentially.
Oh, so more of a laboratory
Yep,
product.
the
Oh,
lab side.
that's pretty neat. And so you've taken the technology pretty far, and let's just talk about the portfolio for a second of everything that's going on with Shining 3D, because it's the nice thing about Shining 3D is your start to finish. I can go
Yes.
scan to, let's say, printing with a seamless process. So why don't you just talk about that a little bit first, and then we'll talk about the details.
Correct. So some of it's actually behind me. So we started, you can see the MediSmile here and
Oh, yeah.
our new scanner, the Elite here. So we offer the full system solution from scan. So you can scan with your newest scanner, the Elite, for example. You can take a facial scan. Those two softwares will talk to each other to incorporate the information. You can upload a CBCT for planning if you like. And then you can use our design center or our design modules within our software to print, and we have 3D printers as well, and we manufacture resin. We're an open system, we're not closed, so you can validate your own materials, and we do have validated materials on our website regarding our printers. We
And
generate open files, so the system's not locked at all.
so I can use an external product like exocad or something and import that into your process.
Correct.
So that's pretty good. Tell me about the little face scanner, because it's that little thing right behind you there. So that's
Yep.
really an interesting product.
Yes. So this is the first iteration. So what this will do is capture the face within 50 micron accuracy. You can upload a CBCT and you can layer the intraoral scan, the CBCT, and the facial data in one place. So the lab doesn't have to layer all that information. You get more accurate restorations and reduced chair times because you can do virtual try-ins, and the lab can see all that information. It will also plane the face, midline, and alla tragus line, so that way you have accurate dimensions. It'll reduce cants in your final restorations. So really, really great product. And we have a new version of it that will be released that will have some very interesting features over the summer. So very excited for that. We had a webinar on that yesterday, so that'll be released soon. So there's going to be some really cool stuff coming regarding the facial scanner.
And when I've seen the software, it's kind of amazing because you see your whole face and you can sort of peel back the layers and you get that to the CBCT, go into the scan. But the nice thing, other than my silly mustache, is when the patient smiles, you can see where you're going. So the laboratory technician has a great idea of the smile design, everything else like that. As you said, center lines, it lines up with the patient's face. And that's a
Yes.
that a lot of people don't realize is critical. I mean, we're sitting here with little scans, little models, CBCT, but put the face across the whole thing. That really puts the finishing touch on this whole thing.
Yeah, we live in a 3D world, so you got to have the full picture. We'll also capture facial hair and hair on the head, so that way your patient doesn't have to shave. If they're really passionate about that kind of a thing, and it'll create an accurate replication of your patient.
So you could delete my beard?
No, we cannot delete it, but it'll be in the scan.
I don't know what I look like. I haven't seen myself in.
I'll tell R&D to work on that. We also take, so a lot of the features that you see in our products, we take customer feedback. We are required to collect that every single month. And we have an entire group just dedicated to adding new features into all of our products, not just the facial scanner, the printer, the scanners, and the facial scanner. So that way our doctors can have the best results for their patients.
Yeah, and that sort of is an AI process too, because your software people are taking all the information in and embedding it into the software that's being used, which is an AI thing. Also, I think the scanner uses AI, doesn't it, for in the scanning process?
The scanner will use AI filtration. So depending on where you are, sometimes you'll need to capture soft tissue. So there'll be some toggling, but for the most part, the scanner will naturally filter out what you need and what you don't need in a scan using AI. This is our newest scanner, the AeroScan Elite, which does the photogrammetry.
Well, we'll talk about that in 1 second too. That's the big boy. So,
Yeah.
well, actually, why waste? Why waste any time? A lot of doctors are doing full arch cases, and you really don't have to talk about full arch cases. I'd say just multiple implant cases. It doesn't have to be full arch cases. And one of the challenges is if you're using analog, for example, which is still valid but takes forever, you want to be positive about the how close these implants are to each other. So when you make the prosthetic, it sits right on. It can't be off, especially if you're going to a zirconia finish. You can't be off by anything.
That'd be right.
So this whole process called photogrammetry, which we won't get into the details of, involves taking these little what do you call those little things anyway? The little square things.
Scan flags. There's scan flags.
Sorry, scan
You
flag.
can call them markers if you want to.
And it gives the computer some information. So previously, what you had to do was you do an intraoral scan, and then you had an outside sort of an external camera and take a picture of all these things. Then you needed a piece of software to put this whole thing together. And it took a while. And these cameras are pretty bulky too, to be honest with you. And what you've done is something very interesting. Tell us what you've done with that whole process.
So what we've done is we put two technologies into one. So we put so this is a great intraoral scanner, does all applications. But then we added a special camera to detect, let me grab my kit over here, to detect these scan flag photogrammetry markers.
There you go.
So we will actually capture all the dots, and you probably can't see them, but they're just these little teeny tiny dots, and it will measure the distances. And the camera only knows these dots. So when you get into that module, it won't pick up any of the extraneous data. It won't pick up the tongue. It won't pick up the saliva because it's only looking for this. They're very specific. So you'll put those in, you'll capture your information, and then you can remove them and match to tissue, or you can match to the scan caps in a surgical case. So that way the scanner's not confused with bleeding tissue, saliva, things like that. So we really simplified it, and the labs love it because they're focusing on designing, not aligning, which is great because everything will align in our software as well. So you're getting your scan, you're getting your measurement, and you're getting your alignment all in one place and all for one price.
And that's the real key here is that you're not doing two different pieces of software, two different hardware pieces. It's all in one, and you push the button and says, here it all is. And I've seen these screenshots. I haven't done it myself, where you can peel this off and look at this, and look at the layers, look underneath it, everything else like that. And
You
that's that's
can.
that's really a game changer in the whole process. So anybody who's doing any extensive implant work, this is the way to go. And as I said, you always think, well, I don't do full arch cases. Well, it doesn't matter. Even if you have two implants, you're trying to do even a little bridge across two implants, they have to be extremely accurate. So you still want to learn about photogrammetry. And again, this is the all-in-one and information that you need with the scanner, with the Elite scanner. So
Yep.
like I said, we need to do a whole course, and you can probably get a hold of Lana, and she could show you all about those little dots and things, and how the computer understands what the dots are and what the sizes of the squares and the triangles and all these things are. But it's really fascinating. At least to me, it is to see how it all operates. So
Yeah.
tell me about. We're talking about the doctors. How does the staff get involved in this whole thing? I mean, you were a hygienist and there's dental assistants, and how does everybody else get involved in using all these different products?
The most important thing is to educate everybody. I'm not saying everybody should be scanning. In fact, that's probably a terrible idea to have everybody scanning, because some people will just naturally excel at it than others. But you need to know about the technology and how to incorporate more people into what you're doing in your office. A lot of offices are siloed. In this case, everybody can be part of a digital workflow. You can have somebody running your printer. You can have one person in charge of scanning. You can have one person in charge of, because all of these things need to be autoclaved. You can have somebody working on the clinical side to keep everything clean, sterilized, and ready for the next patient. So you can really work as a team to get the optimal results just by learning about dental technology.
And does the lab have to know anything special, or is it just pretty self-evident to the laboratories?
A lot of them just though, so the biggest thing is they just need to learn how to work with the cases. So what files do I need to design? That's pretty easy. A lot of them figure it out on their own. So it's just a matter of learning how, because a lot of them are used to having to align. They're like, oh my gosh, I have all these files and what do I do with them? So once they figured that out, it's actually really easy and they love it, because we've really simplified things for them.
And getting back to simplistic things, I mean, so I'm not I don't do the surgery myself, so I have surgeons that help me with all this, but I'm doing other things. I'm doing aligners, I'm doing mouth guards, I'm actually doing flippers, things like that. Tell me about the printing systems that you have and how they would help me out as a GP, just general easy stuff.
So if you have a scan, I mean, scan, design, print. So if you take a scan, you have a lot of options for design. Within our software, we have some model building modules, some crown building, but we have a design center as well. So you're welcome to send all those files off, have them designed, and as long as you have the proper resin, you can print it within your printer, increase your ROI and your productivity in your office.
I mean, I used to say it was really all about ROI because you can print the thing for 50 cents or whatever it is, but that's not what it is. It's the patient sitting there and they can get this, or you can just create this and say, come back in an hour, come back
Yep.
tomorrow. It's done. And that's in general, 3D printing is really, really good. It's not a magic trick. I mean, you have to learn a little bit about how to do some design work, but what I've seen in the software is it kind of is a magic trick. It says, make me a guard, and go poof, there it is.
Yep.
It's all well designed and it comes out of the
Yep.
print. And as you said, you have a lot of different resins that you're working with too. What else can you say about the company? What else can I say? I mean, it's a fully integrated system. It seems pretty automated. It's from A to Z and the whole digital
Yep.
process.
Just a couple things. We will be releasing some new products in Q3. So we'll have a new printer, a new cure unit. The wireless version of the Elite is slowly coming out in the US. So we do have a wireless version, that'll be available or is available, just a slower rollout. And there's just a lot of, we have still have some tricks up our sleeve that I could tell you, but it'd have to kill you kind of a thing. So there's definitely a lot coming. Remember, we're a research and development innovations company. We are a dental company, we're an industrial company, but there'll be a lot of innovation coming from us in the coming years. And it's just a very exciting time, to be working for this company and to be in the digital side of dentistry.
No, actually, I have to say that you yourself and the people I see speak to at the booths and the meetings, everybody's like all in. Everybody's all in on Shining 3D. So,
Yep.
so if someone wants to get more information, the website I believe is shining3ddental.com. Is that correct?
Yeah, and they can go to the design center, dental3dcloud.com, and check that out as well. So there's, if you have a question, sales at shining3d.com, they'll direct you.
That's super. Lana? I can't thank you enough. This is just, I mean, to me, this is my candy store. So I doing this for so many years, and when I see this a company with such passion too, as and you and the company have the passion of the company, and you were out to here to help us, to help our patients. I love it. I just love it.
Well, we're happy to work with you guys. It's been great. We're honored.
Thanks so much, Lana, and thanks for taking some time from us.
Thank you. We appreciate you.